Good day to the panel of the International Integrated Research Conference 2020. Let me present to you my study entitled Impact of Language on the Academic Performance of Grade 4 Learners in Mathematics. This study focused on the impact of language in mathematics, as Zhu 2015 explained that language proficiency is a vital aspect in the educational success of the learners. However, Malin 2012 claimed that language can also be a barrier if the learners are not familiar with the language they use in their schools, which can have a negative impact in mathematics. We all know that mathematics is very important in our everyday living. Mathematics does not only involve numbers and equations, but rather it also involves understanding and logical reasoning. According to the Trends in International Mathematics and Science Study, or TIMSS 2015, Singapore, Hong Kong, Korea, Taipei, and Japan are the leading countries in terms of mathematics. And on the third International Mathematics and Science Study, Philippines ranked as 39th out of 41 participating countries. And on the result of the National Achievement Test on the school year 2011 to 2012, Philippines got an average of 66.47%. The aforementioned problems and issues in mathematics are linked to the role of language as a medium of instruction. The Philippines educational system has been criticized as low achieving. That is why the researcher became interested in pursuing this study. The researcher got curious on which language serves as an effective one. This study was guided by two theories. The first theory was socio-cultural theory of Lev Vygotsky. This theory asserted that human cognitive development is highly dependent upon the environmental language. Language learned best by the learners are their first language, which serves as their common language in their everyday living. And another theory that justifies the impact of language is the language acquisition theory of Noam Chomsky, which focuses on the language development on a person. It simply explains that learners acquire more the language first exposed by the people living in the same linguistic community. Both theories explained the impact of language in the teaching and learning process. And the conceptual framework of this study comprised the x sub 1, x sub 1 single prime, x sub 1 double prime, which pertained to the pretest of the three groups, or rather the mean raw score of the pretest. The group who used Tagalog as a medium of instruction, the group who used English as a medium of instruction, and the group who used Taglish as a medium of instruction. And on the other side, x sub 2, x sub 2 single prime, x sub 2 double prime pertains to the mean raw scores of the post-test of the three groups. In addition, this study aimed to answer the following problems. The first one, what are the mean scores of the pretests of the three groups? The group who used Tagalog as a medium of instruction, the group who used English as a medium of instruction, and the group who used Taglish as a medium of instruction. The second one, what are the mean scores of the post-tests of the three groups? And the third one, are there any significant differences among the mean scores of the pretests and post-tests of the three groups? And the last problem, are there any significant differences among the mean scores of the post-tests of the three groups? This study is generally a quasi-experimental research, wherein the researcher used a simple random sampling technique, specifically the lottery method, to select the school who represented the group who used the identified medium of instruction and the 25 participants in each school or group. The schools participated in this study were Masalukut Uno Elementary School, who used Tagalog as a medium of instruction; Candelaria Elementary School 1 and 2, who used English as a medium of instruction; and the last one, Buena Vista East Elementary School, who used Taglish as a medium of instruction. In addition, the researcher used a self-designed questionnaire, wherein the topics included were composite factors, prime factors, common factors, and greatest common factors. These topics were aligned to the daily lesson log, curriculum guide, and teacher's guide prescribed by the Department of Education. The questionnaire was a multiple type of test composed of 20 items and was validated by the master teachers of Candelaria West District, Candelaria, Quezon. The gathering of data commenced by securing permission to conduct this study from the Superintendent of DepEd at Quezon down to the Supervisor of Candelaria West District, Candelaria, Quezon. The researcher also sought the approval of school principals, classroom teachers, and even the parents or guardians of the learners. After the approval, pretest was administered. And after the pretest, experiment proper was done, wherein teachers' time schedule and assignments were maintained. Teachers assigned taught for 2 weeks or 10 days, and they taught for 50 minutes each day. And after the experiment proper, post-test was done using the same test. So let us now proceed to the results and discussion of the study. On the problem number 1, the results showed that the group who used English as a medium of instruction relatively got the highest mean raw score among the 3 groups, and the group who used Tagalog as a medium of instruction displayed a homogeneous scores among the 3 groups. However, all the participants of the 3 groups using different languages got a failing mean raw score of less than 1/2 of the total raw score in the pretest. It was concluded that the participants do not have enough prior knowledge about the topics and they do not meet the standards and competency. Therefore, it is recommended that teachers should engage on varied assessment tools to determine the appropriate instructional strategy in teaching mathematics, especially in the choice of the medium of instruction. On the second problem, the results showed that the mean raw scores of the 3 groups were increasing. So it means that the learners learned from the topics and learning occurred to them. However, the group who used English as a medium of instruction got the highest mean raw score and the only group who passed the post-test with a satisfactory rating. Therefore, it is recommended that English language must be enforced as a primary medium of instruction in mathematics. However, both Tagalog and Taglish should be used as a supplementary media of instruction. On the third problem, the group who used Tagalog as a medium of instruction get a p-value of greater than the assumed level of significance of 0.05, which means that there is no enough evidence to reject the null hypothesis. So there is no significant difference between the mean raw scores of the pretest and the post-test of the group taught in Tagalog. However, the group who used Taglish and English as a medium of instruction get a p-value of less than the assumed level of significance. So therefore, there are significant differences between the mean raw scores of the pretest and the post-test of the groups taught in English and in Taglish. So it is recommended the Department of Education, specifically school principals, should continue providing relevant teacher development projects and activities, especially on mathematics and language proficiency. And on the last problem, the 3 groups displayed a p-value of less than the assumed level of significance of 0.05. So therefore, there are significant differences between the mean raw scores of the post-test of the three groups. However, English is the best language among the three. So it is also recommended that encourage teachers and other researchers to embark on experimental study, more especially on other topics in mathematics. Thank you and God bless us.